On the holiest day of the Jewish year, Yom Kippur, there was an attack on a synagogue in the suburbs near Manchester, England. 2 Jewish people were killed and 3 others were seriously injured. The suspect allegedly drove a car into the crowd and began stabbing several people outside the synagogue. He was identified by police as Jihad al-Shami, a 35-year-old British citizen of Syrian descent, and he was killed by police. Here with us now is best-selling author Ann Coulter, a keen cultural critic who was recently in the UK. Ann, thank you so much for joining us. So what was your first reaction to seeing the news about this killing?
Mass third world immigration is working out great in England. Especially, you really want to get the ones named Jihad. It'll work well.
Yeah, he sort of gave the game away, right?
It's unbelievable.
What is your analysis for why countries seem so hell-bent on this kind of mass migration that is not working out particularly well for them?
Some people just hate their own countries. I mean, we've known this. Sorry, I know you were liberal for a while. Perhaps we should investigate your psychology on this. But I mean, since the beginning of time, liberals have hated America, and they'd root for the Soviet Union and call for an arms freeze when everyone knew that was sponsored by the Soviet Union. And now the records have come out. We know the arms freeze and the anti-nuke movement sponsored by the Soviet Union. Why are some people constantly against the United States, against England, against the West? They live here among us. And now they can destroy our countries without having to travel anyplace. They used to have to go fight with left-wing terrorist groups in other countries. No, they can just stay comfortable right here in the United States and bring the third world to us.
But we don't have quite the same problem as Europe does.
Ours is much worse. Ours is much worse. Oh my gosh, because we have a 200 head start on them. 88 to 90% of British people are of people living in Britain are British. Are white Britons. In France, about 90% of people living in France, 90% white French. That's what French people are. Mm-hmm. Our country was for 200 years about 80 to 90% white, 10 to 20% black. Now the white population is barely hanging on to 50% by its fingernails. We are so much farther down the line than Europe is. We see these sort of dramatic events, and they're not used to it. I mean, this sounds cruel, but, you know, my whole life when I'd go to Europe, they would always sneer at us for our gun crimes and the cowboy culture and the violence and the crime. Well, get used to it, Europe. You get a few people committing crime, and oh my gosh, all hell breaks loose.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.